Good morning and welcome to the English Readers Theater Club. I'm Tracy Hansen. I'm the host here, and we are sponsored by Next Generation Global Education and the Matrix of a Learner. And I am just so excited to see how we're growing. We were just talking about our club has gotten up to 51 members in 2 weeks. I think that's extraordinary. And the amount of information and knowledge that's being shared between the group goes far, far beyond just English and diction and reading and all that stuff, which is great fun, but wow. And I want to congratulate you all for making it what it is. So today we're going to be reading, let me share my screen. Everybody, I hope is, let's try this one. I hope everybody's getting the emails so that you're able to see what it is we're going to do. And I know that we had talked a little bit about doing something different today because of what Grace has been going through over the last couple of weeks with the loss of her grandmother. However, Grace and I have been working on something. We're doing a readers theater together, writing it. And so she's got pictures and videos and so forth, along with the readers theater that we are going to do and co-host on Monday. So, okay, so that will be Monday's plan. Let me close this down some so I can see. So the Prince Mouse, and somebody was talking about that this was very similar to a tall tale that they had in Russia. Nadia, was that you?
It was me.
It was, oh, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's the Princess Frog we have in Russia. It's a little bit different, but quite the same idea. There are also three sons, and they shoot arrows into the air to find their wives, their future wives.
Oh.
And one of the arrows falls into the swamp, and a frog catches it.
And
then later on, it turns into a beautiful princess as well. And there are some challenges from their father and so on. Perhaps we can translate it and bring it one day to compare.
Perhaps if you share it with me, you and I can turn it into a readers theater.
Okay, it's a little bit, it's much longer than this one.
Well, you know, if you recall, we did Mouse Deer in a week. We did. So we just put it into, split it up and can do it. There's some other longer ones as well that I have in the background. Parts of stories like Tom Sawyer, you know, those more higher level. And I've also been picking up some readers theaters that actually are like science and teach the parts of the body, you know, or things like that, and different parts of the body talk. And so I thought we would do a little bit of those kind too. Such a variety. And we have such a variety of educators working with us too. So, you know, we're going to really explore what we really can do with readers theaters. Anybody else have a story that was similar to the Prince Mouse as Katrina does? No?
Not really. Not really.
Okay. Actually, if I think about it, here in America, we have Thumbelina. Thumbelina is a sort of little bit, and she was just a very, very small thing. She ends up being given to Toad as a wife, and Bird comes and flies away with her. But so we have.
You know, excuse me, Tracy, when you speak about this character, in Russia we have Dyumovochka. There was a little girl, it was as small as an inch. And she had to live with the mole, and with the toads, yes, and gradually a swallow came to save her, yes. So
Yeah,
it's a similar story, yes. We
can't
can
believe
translate
it.
it someday, yes.
Nadia,
During
you
the
and I,
summer.
you and
During the
I,
summer, we can translate in June.
we will do that. What fun. Well, see, and this is, a lot of people have said that they're hoping that they're going to have the opportunity to, or to hear more originals. Well, now we've heard one, and we're going to get a chance to hear another one on Monday, which is
Yes, yes.
also like so exciting. Yeah, so back to this story. I don't know if anybody has looked up Aaron Shepard. He has quite a few. He's really quite extraordinary. He's been doing this since I can remember. But we have 4 narrators: Michael, Princess Mouse, Farmer, and Brother. So let us start with the main characters. Okay. What about Miko? Michael? Who's going to do that?
Miko,
Yeah, thank you.
Who? Who's going to do that?
Mustafa or
Okay.
Ash? Yes.
Mustafa, are you going to do that? I think you
Unmute
said,
yourself, Mustafa, unmute your
I think
mic.
you said sure, but
Okay, Tracy, okay.
okay.
You are Michael.
Okay. He's right. And then we
Miko.
have, no, I lost my place here. We have the Princess Mouse. Who's going to do that? Princess
Hello,
Mouse?
everybody. I missed
Hello.
lesson because at the end of the school, I was really sorry. I'm here.
So I can read the Princess Mouse.
Who's that?
Me, Ekaterina.
Okay.
All right, Hannah has come.
Nash is the farmer.
Who? I don't know who's got a TV in the background. They need
There's lots of
Can you
noise.
switch off the sounds, please? Yes.
and you have to be aware, if you're a reader, your background has got to be quiet, because it comes across on the reading, particularly when we're reading for other people. We
Live.
want it to be clear. Okay, so we got that one. We need a farmer.
Myself is the farmer.
Okay, Ash is a farmer. And Brother?
Oh, I can be a brother. The
You can be a
brother.
brother? You
Nadia.
be a sister, huh? Nadia.
I will be a brother.
Okay.
Okay.
And now we need a narrator 1.
Yes, I am Rayana.
Rihanna.
Narrator 1. Always narrator 1.
Narrator 1. Narrator 2.
What about Grace?
I'll be narrator 2.
And narrator 3.
Tanya? Yes?
Tanya. See, I don't know who all we have here. So
I'm with great pleasure. I'm narrator number 3. I was absent last session because it the end of the school year. I was really busy. Sorry.
that's there's no reason here to ever apologize. We are always thrilled to have you whenever
Yeah.
you come. Okay, so oh, is that Ash? Now we can actually see him.
Yeah, you can see me there.
My goodness. And
Out of
narrator
the
4.
darkness.
4.
So
Narrator
perhaps
4. Yeah. Myself, narrator 4 once again. Can I play the role of narrator 4? Farmer plus narrator 4.
I don't know if we've got. Do we have anybody else there?
Nadia Soul, is Nadia Soul here?
Yes,
I don't
I'm
really think
here,
so.
but unfortunately, I will have
She
to.
has to leave.
She's busy. She's busy. Okay.
Okay. So, all right, Ash, you do narrator 4 and
Farmer.
okay. I'm gonna close this down. And this is a good time also for me to practice. How do I do that? Can't see where it is. I was gonna say for me to practice muting my mic, but I can't see where I do that on mine. This is the screen. All right,
The
so
book.
I hope the dogs won't bark. They aren't here though. Anyhow, are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Once, can I start?
The Prince Mouse.
Once there was a farmer with two sons. One morning he said to them,
Boys, you're old enough now to marry, but in our family, we have our own way to choose a bride. The younger son nodded and listened respectfully, but the older one said,
You've told us, Father, we must each cut down a tree and see where it points.
That's right, then walk that way till you find a sweetheart. That's how we've done it, and that's how we always will.
Now the older son already knew who he wanted to marry. He also knew how to cut a tree so it fell how he wanted. So his tree fell and pointed to the farm where his sweetheart lived.
The younger son, whose name was Nico, didn't have a sweetheart, but he thought he'd try his luck in the town. Well, maybe he cut the tree wrong, or maybe it had thoughts of its own, but it fell pointing to the forest.
Good job, Miko. What sweetheart will you find there? A wolf or a fox?
Never mind. I will find who I find.
the two young men went their ways. Miko walked through the forest for hours without seeing a soul, but at last he came to a cottage deep in the woods.
I knew I would find sweetheart.
But when he went inside, he saw no one.
All this way for nothing?
Maybe not.
Miko looked around, but the only living thing inside was a little mouse on the table, standing on its legs. It gazed at him with large, bright eyes.
Did you say something?
Of course I did. Now why don't you tell me your name and what you came for?
Miko had never talked with a mouse, but he felt it only polite to reply.
My name is Miko, and I have come looking for a sweetheart.
Why, Miko? I'll gladly be your sweetheart.
But you are only a mouse.
That may be true, but I can still love you faithfully. Besides, even a mouse can be special. Come feel my fur.
With one finger, Miko stroked the mouse's back.
Why, it feels like velvet, just like the gown of a princess.
That's right, Miko.
And as he petted her, she sang to him prettily.
Shall I sing?
Go for it, sweetheart.
Your own tune.
Katrina.
So, and what's the tune?
It's the
Any
tune
tune
that
will
comes
do.
up however you want.
You can rap.
Catchy tune.
Miko, sweetheart will I be. What a fine young man is he. Gown of velvet I do wear, like a princess fine and rare.
Well done.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Yes.
Miko looked into those large, bright eyes and thought she really was quite nice for a mouse. And since he'd found no one else anyway, he said,
All right, little mouse, you can be my sweetheart.
Oh, Miko, I promise you won't be sorry.
Miko wasn't too sure, but he just stroked his fur and smiled.
When Miko got home, his brother was already there boasting to their father.
My sweetheart has rosy red cheeks and long golden hair.
Sounds very nice. And what about yours, Miko?
Oh, excuse me. Yes, Miko, did you find a sweetheart with a nice fur coat?
No, Miko didn't want to admit his sweetheart was a mouse. So he said,
Mine wears
Excuse me, somebody needs to mute.
mine wears a velvet gown like a princess.
His brother stopped laughing.
The farmer said,
well, it sounds like Miko's tree pointed a good way too. But now I must test both your sweethearts. Tomorrow you will ask them to weave you some clothes. Then you will bring it home to me. That's how we've done it. And that's how we always will.
We started out early next morning. When Miko reached the cottage, there was the little mouse on the table, jumping up and down in happiness.
Oh, Miko, I'm so glad you are here. Is this the day of our wedding?
Miko sighed and gently stroked her fur.
Not yet, little mouse.
Why, Miko, you look so sad. What's wrong?
My father wants you to weave some clothes. But how can you do that? You are only a mouse.
That may be true, but I'm also your sweetheart, and surely Miko's sweetheart can weave. But you must be tired from your walk. Why don't you rest while I work?
All right.
Miko lay down on the bed in the corner, and the little mouse sang him a pretty lullaby.
Miko, sweetheart, will I be? What a fine young man is he! Cloth of linen I will weave. I'll be done when he must live.
when the little mouse was sure that Miko was asleep, she picked up a sleigh bell on a cord and ran it.
Out of mouse shoals all around the room poured hundreds of mice.
They all stood before the table, gazing up at her.
Hurry, each of you fetch a strand of the finest flax.
The mice rushed from the cottage.
Then 1, 2, 3, and back they were, each with a strand of flax.
First they spun it into yarn on the spinning wheel.
Ray! Ray! Ray!
Some worked the pedal.
Some fed the flax.
Some rode around the wheel.
Then they strung the yarn on the loom and wove it into cloth.
Swish, tap, tap, tap. Swish, swish.
Thump, thump.
Trunk.
Some worked the pedals.
Some
worked the pedals.
Some sailed the shuttle back and forth.
At last they cut the cloth from the loom and tucked it in a nut.
Now off with you.
They all scampered back to their mouse holes.
Miko, wake up. It's time to go home. And here is something for your father.
Miko sleepily took the nutshell.
He didn't know why his father should want such a thing, but he said,
Thank you, little mouse.
When he got home, his brother was proudly presenting the cloth from his sweetheart. The farmer looked it over.
Strong and fairly even. Good enough for a smiling folks like us. And where is yours, Miko? Miko blushed and handed him the nutshell.
Look at that. Miko asked for clothes and his sweetheart gave him a nut.
But the farmer opened the nutshell and peeked inside. Then he pinched at something and straight to pull. Out came Lean, fine beyond belief. It kept coming too, yard after yard after yard.
Miko's brother gaped with one mouth, and Miko did too.
There can be no better weaver than Miko's sweetheart. But both your sweethearts will do just fine. Tomorrow you will bring them home for the wedding. That's how we've done it. And that's how we always will.
Excuse me.
Very
I don't know
noisy.
who has,
Very
wait a minute.
noisy.
Who has
When
the
Miko
TV?
arrived at the cottage next morning, the little mouse again jumped. It's noisy.
Who has the TV? It's impossible to read.
TV on. It must be muted. If you're a reader, somebody else needs to read you. We can't have that noise. It's totally
Yes. Somebody is watching TV while he's reading.
The noise of the kids and the TV, we can't have that when we're reading. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. We needed to start. Narrator one, when Miko?
When Miko arrived at the cottage next morning, the little mouse again jumped up and down.
Oh, Miko, is this the day of our wedding?
It's Little Mouse.
But he sounded more glum than ever.
Why, Miko? What's wrong?
How can I bring home a mouse to marry? My brother and the father and all our friends and neighbors will laugh and think I am a fool.
They might think so indeed. But Miko, what do you think?
Miko looked at the little mouse, gazing at him so seriously with her large, bright eyes.
He thought about how she loved him and cared for him.
I think you are as sweet as any sweetheart could be. So let them laugh and think what they like. Today you will be my bride.
Oh, Miko, you made me the happiest mouse in the world.
Narrator one?
She rang her sleigh bell, and to Miko's astonishment, a little carriage raced into the room. It was made for a nutshell and pulled by 4 black rats. A mouse coachman sat in front and a mouse footman behind.
Miko, aren't you going to help me down? So, Tracy.
Miko lifted her from the table and set her in the carriage. The rat took off and the carriage sped from the cottage. So Miko had to rush to catch up.
While he hurried along behind her, the little mouse sang a pretty song.
Miko, sweetheart, will I be? What a fine young man is he. In a carriage I will ride when I go to be his bride. And where's Rihanna?
At last, they reached the farm and then the spot.
At last, they reached the farm and then the spot for the wedding on the bank of a lovely, swift-flowing stream.
The guests were already there enjoying themselves, but as Miko came up, they all grew silent and started at the little carriage.
Miko's brother stood with his bride, gaping in disbelief. Miko and the little mouse went up to him.
That's the stupidest thing I ever saw.
And with one quick kick, he sent his carriage, the rats and the mice, all into the stream. Before Miko could do a thing, the current bore them away.
What have you done? You have killed my sweetheart.
Are you crazy? That was only a mouse.
She may have been a mouse, but she was also my sweetheart, and I really did love her.
He was about to swing at his brother when his father called out,
Father.
Miko, look! All the guests were staring downstream and pointing and crying out in wonder.
Miko turned and to his amazement saw flat black horses pulling a carriage out of the stream.
A coachman sat in front of a footman behind, and inside was soaked by a bloody princess in a gown of pearly velvet.
the carriage rode up along the bank and stopped right before.
Miko, aren't you going to help me down?
Miko stared blankly a moment, and then his eyes flew wide.
Are you the little mouse?
I surely was, but no longer. A witch enchanted me, and the spell could be broken only by one brother who wanted to marry me and another who wanted to kill me. But sweetheart, I need a change of clothes. I can't be wed at our wedding.
And a grand wedding it was, with Miko's bride, the wonder of all. The farmer could hardly stop looking at her.
Of course, Miko's brother was a bit jealous, but his own bride was really quite nice, so he couldn't feel too bad.
The next day, the princess brought Miko back to her cottage.
But it was a cottage no longer.
It was a castle with hundreds of servants.
And they made their home happily.
And if Miko and the princess had any sons,
you know just how
they chose their brides.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, especially for song.
For the song.
Catherine, yes, Catherine.
It was a hard work.
That was a really great the way you did that. You just kind of.
It was a lengthy script today. Yeah.
Huh? A lengthy script. Yeah. Well, it took us a while to get going in it. There were some, and I'm not quite sure. You guys might be able to guide me. There's some pronunciation issues that go on, and I'm trying to run the screen, and it's hard for me to write them down at the same time. But how would you like to go back over those things? What best works for you? First, just go over the script itself, see if there's any problems, and then talk about some words that might have been pronounced incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Sure.
I'm gonna give that. As I say, this is kind of all new to me, as it is to you, and I'm learning as you are teaching me. Okay. So, let's particularly look at anything. If you had a problem with a word or got stuck on something or didn't know what something was.
Yeah, Tracy, I have one.
Grace?
Yeah, do you say castle or castle?
Castle.
Castle.
Castle. T has no sound.
Okay.
Castle.
Castle. The air sound is there.
Castle.
Oh yes, Princess Mouse. Tracy, can you say? Let me tell you the spelling: SQUEALS. What's the pronunciation?
Q-U what?
SQUEALS. Princess Mouse.
Is Princess Mouse does this?
Yeah.
Squeals in delight.
Squeals. Does it
Oh,
call it
squeals. Yeah.
Squeals in delight.
Squeal.
Beep, beep.
Yeah. Oh, I squeal, Squeals.
Squills.
Yeah,
All right.
Squeals in delight.
All right. Okay.
Squeals in delight.
And again,
So come feel my fear.
fur.
Yes,
Fur.
Fur.
Fur. Yeah.
Feel my
You
fur.
are
Fur.
is
Here,
Fur.
yeah.
Good.
Fur.
Yes.
Not far. It's
No,
not
no,
like
no.
far.
No, far would be
Fur.
that's a.
Far.
So, yeah.
Far.
Like in nurse is a UR.
Good.
Fur, nurse.
Okay. Her.
Yes, here.
Her.
Her.
Although her is
Birthday. Birth.
It's a bit different, yes.
Her.
Fear is more backward.
Fair.
fur. Fur.
Yes, right. Fear.
You're trying to roll your R's. You don't. We don't.
Yeah.
Roll our R's.
Red. Ready.
Rugged rascals ran.
Ready.
Oh, dear. And there are some sounds that people in other languages have a very difficult time with because their mouths just don't normally form that in their language. And so you get like wonderful, you get the wonderful, the v. So and your S's sometimes are a little difficult. So one of the other things that I used to do with people is we used to practice tongue twisters.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah, but what about a butter? But the butter which you got was bitter, so we beat a bit of butter to make the bitter butter better.
And there you go. So, and you know, besides again being a great fun, it helps with your diction. And clearly, I would say if you have decent diction, it's not your accent that will cause it. It's the diction. Your accent is you know, all right, and people will be able to understand that. But oftentimes the diction isn't clear, and then the accent gets, and then even I, if I can't see you, don't understand necessarily. See, and he's telling me hi, and I don't know what he wants me to do with that. Just come on, Nigel. Anyhow, let's look at the rest of the story. There was a couple of ones. You know what it is?
I think it was linen.
Linen.
Line.
Where are
Linen.
we? Where are you?
The cloth is called linen, I guess.
A kind of cloth.
Oh,
It's
linen.
kind of close.
Linen.
Linen, yes, it is
Where
linen.
is that?
Usually bed clothes are made from linen. Learn, in Russian it is learn, linen.
Linen, yeah.
Linen.
Learn in Russia, we call it learn.
Oh, linen. All right, linen. All right. Oh, somebody used to say that, made of linen. Oh.
Made of linen. What is, yeah, or that's a fabric. What about, you all know what weaving is, yes?
Yes.
Weave some clothes. Weave some clothes.
Weaver is the person who weaves clothes, yes.
Use yarn to make clothes.
Yes.
Weaving
something to make clothes, yes. Clothes.
And we are doing online weaving with other networks and other organizations.
You're doing weaving and teaching them how to weave cloth?
Yeah.
And the spider also, his net, yes.
That's very cool.
What's glumly? I mean, does it call glumly?
Glumly means Nico's side and instructors. Nico saying, "Not yet, little mouse, glum." Sadly, glum. Not yet.
I'm sure.
Gloomily.
Glum. You know, kind of sad. And
Hesitant.
Hasten, where are you now?
Whining, whining. What does that mean?
Yawn. Oh, yawn.
Yawning.
Yawn, yawning.
Oh. Yeah. This way.
Oh,
Yes.
yawning.
Yeah, yawning. Of course, if
So
one
after reading
yawns,
that script,
Good at body language.
after reading that script, everybody is.
It's interesting to see you're all beginning to get the idea of how to pick up from the next person, particularly in this area, because it's really one after the other. Some work the pedal, some feed the flax, some rode around the wheel, you know, so it's kind of this. So, and you're really picking the pace up with that and getting it to move nicely. And that's a big improvement that I see going on in the group too.
And how to read, how to read the sound of the spinning wheel? We can see there.
Okay.
Whir, so a little bit up.
Whir, whir, whir. Yeah, but you know, you can go. You can make it. And what's fun is all of them are doing it together, so we get all different kinds of sounds. We have a very unique spinning wheel. I don't know what Nigel is doing. Okay. It's interesting, you know, that the story, there's a number of tall tales of fairy tales where, like, you know, if you kiss the frog and he turns into a prince, you know, story. Do you have those that story as well? Yeah. I probably kissed a whole lot of frogs when I was young, but I never found a prince. Has a little flavor of Cinderella to it as well. I don't know if you know Cinderella, but and you know that's what I find so interesting is because we're reading these tall tales and stuff from other countries, and yet you can see hints and touches of your fairy tales that you were brought up with too. So again, we begin to see that there's a huge similarity between us all, you know, which is really kind of cool.
Yes.
Anything, any of these here?
Tracy?
Yes?
Yeah, on narrator 1, up. What's, do you say slate? The pronunciation, yeah.
She
Sleigh.
ran her sleigh bell. Sleigh bell?
Yeah.
Sleigh.
Sleigh bell.
Sleigh.
Sleigh. DH.
Okay.
I can't, you know, well, that's one of the words that I'm just gonna have to be quiet and tell you I can't.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Yes,
Yes, sleigh bell.
Oh,
but it's a
oh,
word you
oh.
really kind of have to just recognize because if you try to sound it out phonetically, it would be pretty. Yes.
Oh,
Sleigh
thank you.
bells ring. Are you listening? You know that song.
Okay.
Astonishment.
Great surprise.
Okay.
Right. Very surprised. What is this?
Gaping in disbelief.
What's that mean?
With the mouth open widely.
Okay.
Yes?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, good.
Skype is calling.
Somebody's calling on Skype.
I don't know where that is.
Video.
I'm trying to watch this on the other machine so I can see how things are going, and that's obviously not what I can do.
What, Miko? Defiantly, but near tears. Defiantly.
Defiantly. What do you guys think? Defiantly.
Proudly, or what?
So it's
Show me
boldly and provocatively.
Show me defiant. Show me defiant.
Almost crying, right? Something.
Near tears, but still he was defiant.
Defiant. Okay. In other words,
aggressive.
No, not necessarily aggressive, but he's defending his position. He's, you know, and the brother's saying, "Are you crazy? It
He was
only
determined.
It's only a mouse." It might have been only a mouse, but she was also my sweetheart, and I really loved her. Okay, you see, she may have been a mouse. So that's the defiant piece. But she was also my sweetheart, and I really loved her. That's the near tears. And see, that's what makes Reader's Theater so much fun, because in essence, you don't have anything but your voice.
Yes, express everything with the voice, yes.
Okay, so does that help?
Yes, thank you.
And this is going to sound kind of funny, but I was surprised at this. But when Princess Mouse says, "But sweetheart, I need a change of clothes. I can't be wet at our wedding." Now, obviously, she's just gone into the stream and she should be wet and everything. But for some reason or other, I figured when she went from mouse to girl, she'd be all dressed up and she wouldn't be wetter. You know, just the thinking of it's a fairy tale, and it's kind of surprising to me. Any other questions or problems with that story? I think what I loved about this also was that we were able to relate it to so many other stories and examples of stories that you all have in your cultures as well. And that makes it even more interesting. We really don't have time. It is a long story. We won't read it again. It took a lot of other time. But do you have any questions or anything like that that we want to share with those that are watching us on Facebook? And if not, then I'm going to close us off of Facebook. Anything you want to share with them? Okay. So this is the English Readers Theater Club, and we are signing off from Facebook now, and hope maybe sometime some of you will also join us live on Zoom.